Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to go ahead and show you all how to animate a character walk cycle in Maya. Um, my rig is set up very similar to many rigs out there, um, but let's just go ahead and get started and yeah. So I created this character myself. I created the rig for it, and I've never officially given it what I call a battle test. So here's how I have my joint set up, and um, instead of running all blend shapes through the face, I actually ran a joint setup to animate the face. So you'll notice, and this is almost done. I have to run through and see some of the errors that as I go through it. See, I get a little pull right here on this eyebrow in the upper forehead, but for the most part, it's um, pretty good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you how some of the facial controls work. I'm not really gonna focus on that, so I figured I'd show you now. But here's how I have him blinking, and if I want, I can have him open his eyelid very, very large. Um, and I also have his eyes, the bottom eyelid, and I even have some nostrils in here, so I can actually control the nostril if I wanted to. And the mouth also, and I have a jaw control, but also to adjust the lips. And you can see I haven't even finished the teeth or tongue. But I'm going to go ahead and give him a test and see how he's working so far. So the cloth, by the way, the robe that I have on him is actually run by a being weighted to the skin also, to the joints, excuse me. So you'll see I get a little bit of bleed through, and I've been doing some blend shape corrective blend shapes to assist me with that, but like I said, he's not 100% done. For the most part, I'm going to go ahead and turn off his cloak layer and just go ahead and get started animating. So what I'm going to do first is get my poses going. So my first pose is going to be a contact pose. Now the contact pose, it doesn't matter how you start it, either way. So, and here's some interesting breaking of the joints. Let's see if he's even possible. He's such a strange proportion. I'm going to go back and undo that really quickly. I'm actually going to bring him back and check my joint setup. Okay. So let's bring him down just a little bit, and now let's go ahead and animate. Get that joint properly going there. So for my contact pose, I guess I'll bring my foot here, and I have my extra controls over here. So I got my toe joint bending in, and I'll go ahead and turn off X-ray joints at the moment. And something like so. And I'm going to be sure to press S on anything that I animate, and S is for set keyframe. And here I'm going to do heel raise. Alright. And just for, I'll get to the arms first. I'm going to animate the legs. I'll get to the arms second. I'm going to animate the arms first, or the legs first, excuse me. And for the time being, I'll switch to my side view. And there we go. So let's go ahead and bring this a little further up. And I'm just trying to get a center of gravity sort of going here. Whenever I create a rig, though, I like to actually make the foot controls larger and typically a little bit higher. If you notice, I have it, about the middle of the foot if it was laid out all flat. Um, and depending on how big his footsteps are going to be, will really determine. Because he's got such short little legs, I don't want it to be too much. And I want to keep that bend going. I feel like that's a pretty good start to it. Okay. The next thing I will do is my down pose. So the heel will come down, and because of his toenails, toe raise, let's see what happens here. I did do that pretty decently, actually. I'll bring that back, and I might even add a little of that ball raise in to make sure I get that knee bending. Oh, I didn't go out to my next frame. So let's do that again. So make sure you move to your next frame, which is 4 in my case. And I'm going to keep that foot right where it is. And here I'm going to add some toe raise. And maybe a little less on the ball raise here. And I'm going to, let's make that a little bit bigger. And shift the weight forward a little bit. And let's even give him a little bit here. So now we've got the contact and the down pose. The next pose we're going to do will be 1, 4, 7. We'll do the passing position. And I know this needs to come up a little bit for that. And then, so the only 3 controls I'm really utilizing right here are I might even bring them up a little bit more. Let's bring this to 0. Oh. I want to make sure I didn't grab anything accidentally. There we go. And his feet are just so enormous. This is going to be sort of a strange way to do this. I might have to bring him up a little bit more. Yeah, I'm getting too much deformation in there. Let's bring him up a bit more. Maybe just trying to get it above that ground line. I'm getting a little bit more stretching than I would like. a lot more than I would like. So here's my first official battle test with this rig. And I might have to just go ahead and begin to animate the toes. So it's pretty good up until about this frame. And it's because he's so little. And his feet are just ginormous. So let's go ahead and see what happens. If I actually, before I do that, I'm going to set a keyframe on all of these. Do the same for this. And then here, I'm going to do the same thing. Oop. Okay. Alright. Now I'll go to my frame 7 and see if I can actually get these to wiggle out of the way. And yeah, maybe. Okay. And maybe I'll even bring them in. I see a little deformation in here that I would like to fix. But let's just go see what that looks like. And I might have to add an in-between in here, it looks like, to get this right. There we go. Okay, so and it looks like I'll need to add another one in here just for these toes, which does make this very tedious. But I'm glad I did include toe controls, because otherwise this would be far more difficult to get right. And I'm getting too much twist in there. And maybe sort of the limitations of this rig I've got. Yeah, I'm getting way too much twist in there. In which case, I'm going to set that one right there. And we'll set this one up. And back Hopefully it doesn't start breaking the joints or anything. Let's bring her in a little bit. See if I can rotate it. And perfect. Yeah, this one is definitely sort of at its maximum. There we go. So it is working fairly well. Just some tweaking. And because I have the other ones all back, I might as well just bring that one back also. So a very strange walk I've got here. But let's see if it looks... It seems okay. Okay, so I've got my passing position. I like to do this from the side viewport when possible. Okay, perfect. Now I will push forward to my up position, which I'll be able to reset these controls back to default, zero them out. So my up position, again, I'm going to switch into this viewport. I'm going to grab my foot control, and I'm going to bring this foot back, and I'm going to add some ball raise to it. Bring it back even more. Oh. And we're gonna, let me make sure I set a keyframe on here. And now here, let's go ahead and now bring this up. Okay. I'm interested to see what happens. Oh. I didn't move my keyframe yet. Okay. Now, passing position. I'm going to start with the far foot. I'm going to bring that back and add ball raise to it and bring this up. And maybe even a little back. And this will bring back even further and add more ball raise to it. Alright, something like that. For this foot, we're now going to, I'm going to just zero this out. And give it a little bit rotation. And then here on the toes, I'm going to see if I can zero all these out, and hopefully they're not okay, intersecting with the ground plane. Looks like I may have a little bit, so let's rotate that up even bring it up a little bit. So now we've got our contact position, our down pose. Might have to bring those feet closer, but passing position, up position, and now we're going to go back to the contact. So, coming back to this, I now need to go to my contact pose. Excuse me. So, what we're going to do is bring this down, because this will be now. Oh, I gotta bring it back. Am I getting any? Yeah. I have to basically do an in between here. I'm gonna have to go back and touch that up. So let's just go ahead and go to. So we got 1, 4, 7, 10, and we'll go to 13, and we're gonna go to the contact pose. Okay. Now this we need to bring down. This we need to bring back. Now let me double check for my side view. And I'll get into the waist turning later. Okay. All right. Up. Contact. Something seemed off about it. I need to bring this forward. Oop. Let's just reference this one. So I'm going to take my middle mouse button, click here. Oh, I don't want to do it for that one. Okay. Just trying to match these a little bit. My frame 1 and 13. Okay. So I've got his first step. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do the same exact thing, now just leading with the opposite foot that we started from. So 1 and 13 both look pretty good so far. Looks like I have a little weight painting thing I need to adjust in here, but so far he's animating, he's working really well. So far battle test successful. Alright, now let's go ahead and go 16, and let's bring this to 0. Contact down, and we'll bring ball raise to 0. Actually, I probably will need some ball raise on that. This is going to come up. Actually, no, I'm going on the down position, so this is going to come down a little bit. And the down, do toe. Oh, excuse me. This is something I should zero out. Set minimum and maximum defaults at 0. So we'll just add some toe raise in here. Shift his body weight forward. Bring his leg back a little bit. And there we have our down position. And bringing him a little bit forward as his weight shifts forward. Yeah, that helps a lot. So as his foot goes, so does his waist. Okay. Now we'll go to the passing position, the animation pose, the key pose that I had most difficult with last time. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back. And pretty much this is going to have to come up. This is going to have to come up also, and I'm getting a lot of strange deformation. There's one reason why. And this is where I needed to animate the toes last time to make sure that I wasn't getting. Let's go ahead and check. Yeah. So in here, as I rotate this back, something like so. Let's go ahead and now see if I can get the, maybe if I animate from the heel a little bit. No. Nope. Alright, so I'm just gonna have to do the best I can here. Bring that in a little bit. Can I bring this up a little bit more? I'd really rather have it something like here. Yeah. And I'll have to animate the toes. Oh, perfect. And because I'm bending one, I'm just going to start to bend them all. And a little twist in there might help, but on the weight paints. Ooh, I will need to also come back here, and I'm going to select all of these. And a middle mouse button dragging to keep them the same for every. And as before, like I did before, I'm going to have to animate in-betweens on these. Okay. And maybe here. I can just pull something like so. It's weird looking, but really kind of the best deformation I'm going to get. Let's see. No. I just twisted the whole thing. So I'll just stick with that. And this one also. And let's bring this one in. It looks like I could also adjust some of the paint on the foot for this toe also. But let's go with that. And here. Rotation doesn't do too much for me on it. Something like that should work. That looks a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to switch to my side view and see how that's working so far. So contact, down, passing, up, contact, down, passing. Okay. Let's just see. Maybe with his toes being bent, I can get a little bit more leeway with it. Just such a tough spot for it. Okay. And the deformation just does not look great. Maybe that's better. Alright. Maybe I bring this up. That helps a little bit. maybe. Maybe. Yeah, that is just warping the foot so much. Oh, I'm getting pull probably somewhere from the root joint right here, I'm guessing. Give or take. Which could also be affecting some things as far as the deformation in this region goes. And I'm going to set that keyframe there. I'm going to select the foot. I'm on right, so I need to go to right. Ankle maybe? And change the render. Let's see how my left ankle is. Okay. I'm just trying to find out where that pull is coming from. Just seeing what would happen here. Maybe if I bring down the strength a little bit. Part of my battle test here. And then I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit, add a little bit more strength to it. That does help it not look so awkward. Now, let's fix this part really quickly. Let's go down to right knee. Yeah, I think it's alright for now, so let's just roll with that for now. Let's do this one more time. Alright, let's just roll with it. Okay. Yeah, my other ankle's pretty much doing the same thing. And the knee. So, my passing position, wish it was a little bit cleaner. And maybe I can get a little bit more in here. Okay. Now, turn off shading X-ray joints. And let's go ahead and see how it's working out so far. Okay. So far, so good. Let's extend this to 25. Oh, not 253, 25. Alright, and there we go. That's where I meant it. So passing 22. We're going to do the up position next. Okay, so bring the up, bring this foot back, add some ball raise to it, get that toe bend in there that we're looking for. Okay, and now bring this forward. Let's just zero it out real quick. Okay. His feet are just ginormous. For him, I like to have the foot to be a little bit on an angle. Maybe if I zero out these, I'll be able to get the look that I'm going for. Okay. I'm just doing the in-betweens right now. Okay. Ooh. Whoops. Okay. Passing up. Let's see what happens if I... Huh. Just checking my mesh really quickly. There we go. So I don't accidentally click on it again. Just see what happens. Oh yeah, that's definitely not going to work. I have to bring that up. And just so that one doesn't look so off, start to bring this one back. And we'll see what this looks like at the end, because glad I included those toe controls. Okay, bring that up just a smidget. This is probably one of the more difficult walk cycles I've done due to his proportions, basically. Passing position, up. See if I can get a little, no, that's way too much. And let's bring this down just a smidge so I can get a little bit knee bend in there. And what if I do... Alright. So actually not too shabby. This section right underneath the arm might be able to use some work, but it's doing okay so far. It's pretty good for a first try. Alright, so let's go ahead. So now all I need to do, that I've got this pose at 22, I'm going to take every pose from frame 1, middle mouse button click, to frame 25. Those are my main ones, and then I can also do the toes. Middle mouse button click, drag, set keyframe. Then we're going to set this to 24, and this way, set this to 24, and this way when we play it back, once it goes to this frame, it'll jump straight to this one. And now let's take a look at what it looks like. So it is a little robotic, but that's because I haven't added in anything else yet. So I'm going to jump into my side view, and I'm really only focusing on just the legs, so I could just zoom in on his legs. And I'd say it's working very well up to this point. So I've got his walk cycle. Now here comes the real question. What does it look like? Oh, not that. With the cloth on. Like I had said, I had it's really not too shabby. And I'm going to turn on my render to legacy high quality. One of the cool things I have on this guy too is I don't know if this will play because they're two separate. It doesn't look that bad, honestly. Looks like it does need a few more corrective blend shapes, but for the most part, if I had his hood up, it would work. Just a few corrections in here that I would need to either weight paint or do the blend shapes on, corrective blend shapes. But for this purpose, let's just keep it like this. See how it plays. Okay, let's go back. Let's run a play blast. One second. Okay. AVI will be fine. Let's just go ahead and run a play blast. And how do I turn on looping on this? Okay. Just one moment. I'll show you what the play blast looks like. It played in the AVI, but I thought maybe QuickTime. Control L will loop this. Oh, let's go here. So, yeah, his legs are working pretty good so far. Let's turn this off to legacy default and just take a quick look around. I mean, really, for the most part, right in this region, which you can barely notice, I just have some minor things to touch up on, but for the most part, it's working pretty well. Alright, well, that's the first part, animating the legs. And hood down bind letter. The next thing I'll do is the arms. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, basically, / battle test, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one.